In Italy, for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, bloodshed, but they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love. They had 500 years of democracy and peace. And what did that produce? The cuckoo clock.
Hello, and welcome back to Let's Take 5, the podcast where we take a legend of cinema, take 5 of their films, and highlight their excellence and range. My name is Austin Luger.
My name is Eric Martindale.
And we are here for the second week of our Orson Welles 5. Last week we covered the powerful, the almighty Citizen Kane.
What movie?
It's a daunting film. It's Citizen Kane we did. And upcoming we have Othello, Touch of Evil, and Chimes at Midnight, all rather good films. Mm-hmm. Now Citizen Kane. This one honestly has a bit of the prestige of Citizen Kane. This is The Third Man. This is a film directed by Carol Reed. Came out in 1949, based off a Graham Greene novel, adapted by Graham Greene himself, although there are lots of rumors about who did some rewrites in the script uncredited, including Welles himself and Carol Reed. But it is the story of a dime store Western novelist whose name is Holly Martins, played by Joseph Cotton. He goes to Vienna to see his friend Harry Lime. He arrives, and bad news, Harry's dead. And he's rather confused by this, since he was just invited, but as he attends the funeral and asks very simple questions about what happened when he died, he discovers that these stories don't add up as much as they should, and starts to investigate where is Harry Lime, who was Harry Lime, and what really happened. And that is the basic mystery. As we do for every podcast, we are going to spoil things substantially in this, especially considering our subject plays Harry Lime.
Harry Lime is not dead.
He's not dead.
So most people come in, and we talked about this before this started. Most people come into this film knowing something about it and knowing that Harry Lime is not dead. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
So I didn't know that when I watched it, so it was a surprise to me. Okay, so like Orson Welles is coming, and if you've heard, the storm's like being held back for a lot of the movie, and if you know anything about cinema, you hear that Orson Welles' entrance in this film is one of the greatest character entrances of all time. If not the greatest. Usually it's called the greatest character entrance there ever is, ever was, ever will be.
Well, why don't you describe that scene?
Okay, so, it goes into the story I'm talking about here. So I'm waiting for Orson Welles to show up. I know that Harry Lime's dead based on the story. I'm thinking he's either Harry Lime or he's the guy that killed Harry Lime. Those are my two options, all right? So Joseph Cotton looks out the window. He sees a man moving across the street, a shadowy figure during the middle of the night, and you just know it's Welles. You just know. Mm-hmm. And I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for that reveal. And Welles gets in the doorway, Cotton comes downstairs, the cat crawls over there, light turns on, boom, on Orson Welles' face, and he goes, Harry? And that's what that connection's made, and it's a really special moment. I mean, it's kind of interesting because you only, I think, need to know... You don't need to really know anything about the plot. If you know who Orson Welles is, then that reveal's awesome.
Yeah.
No matter what. You could just, YouTube. I mean, I recommend watching the movie because it's great, but, you're watching a 2-hour movie, Orson Welles hasn't shown up, or, an hour and 15 minutes in, or something like that, and then this happens, and it's amazing. And it's lit so beautifully, it's shot so beautifully, the way the sound works during the scene. And then there's an awesome little chase scene after that that's shot wonderfully, right?
And it's such a fun little, almost anti-chase scene, because he's chasing him. I love that he has the great look. The light hits him. He is instantly charismatic, as he has this smile of happy to see his friend, but also happy his friend has seen him. Because, look what I've done.
Yeah, I know.
And then a car passes by, and you do get to see, as the car moves, him run away. Mm-hmm. It isn't a complete Batman thing. Mm-hmm. He is mortal.
Right.
And so this chase begins, and then he loses them. And there's a payoff later in the film about how he lost him. Mm-hmm. And you just gotta learn that Harry knows his ways around the sewers of Vienna.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got, I don't know if there's something borrowed there a little bit from, Al Capone or something like that. I don't know when those mafia stings happened. I think they were in the 60s. I don't really know.
Oh, no, it's like
40s?
20s.
20s?
Right.
Okay, well, there we go. So we keep going back. I only missed it by 40 years.
Yeah, you're fine.
But I do know that Al Capone had, like, you find out that Lime's a monster. He's a mobster. Both.
Yeah, no, in fact, monster first.
Monster first, mobster, and, he has his secret passages through the city and stuff like that, like Al Capone did. He goes out the back alley, he goes, clicks a button, goes through and goes into the sewer and pops up on the other side of town. I mean, that was the same type of shit he used to do. So I wonder if there's something borrowed there from that as well, because he disappears into the sewer.
Well, Graham Greene is a spy novelist. And I think a bit like John le Carre, he had real-life experiences that kind of went into this. He also did things like The Quiet Americans made into a movie. I think The Fallen Idol is also a Carol Reed film. I find his writing a little bit dry, so I couldn't really get into all of his books. But this is the one that really kind of works for me, partly because this movie is so much fun, because it's not so strange, but it's just a little bit strange, because just as the film is introduced by this kind of delightful, rambling voiceover, Vienna is not a city to itself.
Our second time we visited Vienna since we've done this podcast.
Yes.
See before sunrise.
Yes. At this point, Vienna is fractured into 4 different parts. Mm-hmm. There is the British, the French, the German, and then just Italy? I mean, I don't know. I lost track.
I'm not sure.
But it is, you truly, the more you
Vienna's in Austria, so...
Probably Austrian.
I don't know. It's not in Italy.
Yeah, I'm not good at geography. But
it's because you kept calling Vienna Venice.
That does not help.
In a previous podcast.
Which one is this place then? Whatever. But you have this thing of, even when he goes and does the typical kind of detective scene of, okay, now I'm going to ask this person about the day Harry Lime died, it's like he's in a different country. It's just constantly different cultures and different elements. And what Harry kind of, understatedly knows that just keep moving. They're all, tied up in bureaucracy and trying to coexist. And he's just about the wonderful way of destroying it all. Mm-hmm. The bit of anarchy, the bit of just seeing himself above all these rules. And you could easily have made this villainous character a Bond-like villain. He wants gold, power, blah, blah, just like MacGuffin. But to have him do what he does here is so shocking. It is
what does he do? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it is a medicine scam that is essentially killing children so he can make more money. They'll show you the dying children in this movie. You go, this is what Harry is responsible for. So when you get to see the literal kids in the sick ward, and then have Orson Welles always play it as the delightful host of a party, it makes the performance so much more sinister. Because
Orson Welles would have made a great Joker.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the third man version, because you're the constant thing in the movie, and I think this is present throughout the film and all the characters in his life, not just Joseph Cotton's character Holly, but also Anna, his girl, is that they try to sort of square that Orson Welles charisma with the monstrous deeds that he is doing in the film. And Orson Welles plays that really well, because he's not a mustache-twirling villain. There's no melodrama. He presents an argument for what he's doing. I mean, very much like, said the Joker earlier, an agent of chaos type of thing. This is the way the world works, and you can either hop on the train or get run over by it. And so there's 2 big things here. One being the incredible entrance that he makes, that's film history, film legend, but also maybe the most famous monologue in the history of film, too.
Which is our intro,
right. So that monologue that he delivers is basically, it's an exposition dump that sort of, I typically don't like this in stories, but it really works here, and part of it has to do with how good Orson Welles is. When you're not giving characters motives or objectives, oftentimes you will insert an objective for the character, for a villain, to give him reasons without adding really more nuance, just one big information dump that says, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And sometimes that can come off as a little cheap. I don't think it does here because he's a relatively small part in the film anyway. Orson Welles isn't in the film all that much. And for what we do have, his most iconic scene is this scene, right? Other than maybe his entrance, but is delivering that monologue. It's written wonderfully, it's written beautifully, and we feel like we've been learning about him a lot before we ever met him anyway. So I think it kind of works here.
Especially because...
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, well, there's also like this element of like when you have these villains, why are the villains doing what they're doing? Mm-hmm. And oftentimes you can have it be, oh, it's because of this traumatic thing or this betrayal. That is why they're doing now the amoral thing.
Or they had a bad childhood.
Exactly.
It was several things that happened that led to this point.
Right. Or you have the opposite angle, which is, Hannibal Lecter, where he says, I just made myself, essentially. Mm-hmm. The really great villains, and the ones that's really hard to recreate because you have to be that good, are the ones who believe in the nature of crime. And are so smart about it, or so articulate about it, that they are convincing. So when you have now Holly, who's been now very frustrated and very betrayed that he did not know his friend is horrendous, faked his death, and all this kind of stuff, he's ready to just call him out and whatnot. But Harry is just nonchalant about it, and then he starts to monologue, and the monologue that we feature wonderfully in the intro that Adam made is making the argument against peace. Mm-hmm. And it works.
It is convincing.
Yeah, and that's the brilliance. I think I love that you mentioned the Joker earlier, because, that's why the Joker works so well as a villain, is because he's an agent of chaos who can convince you that chaos could be the right answer, mm-hmm. when the Joker's written very well. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's even a character in the Batman mythos that is a villain because he's so convincing. Harley Quinn is created because she was a sane person who bought into the Joker's madness. Mm-hmm. And that's something. And in fact, that Harry does not
It's
learn...
a good sell. It's the best sell you could possibly make to be a bad guy.
And Harry does not learn a lesson. He's not convinced otherwise. Mm-hmm. He does not care about those kids at all. Mm-hmm. And to his last dying moment... he just wants to keep doing this.
Yeah, and escape. Yeah, it's kind of... that all... So there's so much, ground being broken here. You got this unbelievable entrance. The cinematography in this film, but...
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane how amazing it is.
Only an Oscar this one.
Yeah, well, what? Oh, it did. It won Center Photography, which makes sense. There's not a straight shot in the film, I don't think. I think the camera's always either moving, cockeyed, or when it's not, it's showing something spectacular or extraordinary, like the chase down.
You know what? There is one definite straight shot. It's the last shot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's so long.
But they are rare when they happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or, so I was going to say, another ground being broken, so we talked about the entrance, talked about the monologue. They should have seen Inside a Ferris Wheel. Mm-hmm. It's great.
It's so cool because
it's so cool. It's just so fucking neat.
Yeah, I forgot. I just realized, put this together now. Harry, he's the one who wants to go on the Ferris wheel to talk. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's also a way of protection. Mm-hmm. He knows where you are for the Ferris wheel. No look at this.
It's broad daylight too. Yeah.
But also he just mentions very quickly about how he saw this as a kid.
Yeah.
He's killing kids. Yeah. And nothing is phasing him.
And when they get to the highest point, he looks down on the people and says, they look like, what if one of those little dots down there just stopped moving?
Yeah.
Is that really that big of a deal?
Yeah.
And again, it makes a compelling argument for it. But I just wanted to say, that's really cool. And you have this powerhouse of acting inside this small area inside this Ferris wheel with Joseph Cotten and Orson Welles, both of them in height of their powers. They're both incredible actors. Joseph Cotten previously in Citizen Kane, also part of the Mercury Theater troupe as well, best friends in real life. And these two people are on screen, and this movie's old. This is not when did this movie even come out?
49.
49. Okay, so again, this is very, very close to it, but it's still predating that early method acting stuff. I mean, we're talking Stanislavski, which is Russian or whatever, but the big American boom with Strasberg wouldn't come for a couple more years. Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten are in this room, and they're just absolutely destroying it. The acting is so flawless. I mean, there is a grain of salt, and I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, where you take acting in the past and you can there's a transitional period, right? You look at Streetcar Named Desire, which came out 2 years after this. You look at that film, you see Marlon Brando, you see Vivien Leigh, both of them giving great performance, but they're doing something completely different. Vivien Leigh is stage acting, Marlon Brando is film acting. And Marlon Brando gets a lot of credit for that, and rightly so, but Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten are doing something extraordinarily new. And they were doing it before in Citizen Kane, and they are absolutely nailing it in this scene. The acting is incredible.
Well, Joseph Cotten, to me, is such a brilliantly subtle actor. And he doesn't get the amount of accolades that someone like Orson Welles does, but I think he really is incredible. And this, he gets to play a non-hero, essentially, right? I mean, he doesn't fully solve the case. He is mocked endlessly for his profession. He is a fish out of water, and he's not cool.
Oh, you don't forget that he doesn't get the girl.
No, that's the thing. The final shot he does, like, is the kind of great. They had to have been purposely evoking Casablanca, right?
The shot is amazing.
The cop who's like, who's such a great character. The cop, like, all right, we can still make it to the airport. Mm-hmm. He sees the girl, Harry's girl, he's come with the whole time, like, no way I'll get out here. Okay. And he just kind of stands there, like, in the coolest pose he can as she walks. And does not speed up at all. You watch her for the longest time, and then she walks right past him. The movie ends.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's because it's so long.
You are spending that time in some amount of debate, right? And it's almost as if in this moment, this movie can decide what type of movie it wants to be. Mm-hmm. You see her approaching from a while, how far away, he's standing there, and it lets you guess what she's going to do and then second guess it about 50 times by the time she just walks right past him, doesn't even look at him. Like you said. I knew it was going to happen, though.
Oh, no. Because that's not like what her character is.
And they have so many great scenes together, those two. She's amazing, too.
She's fantastic. I was thinking another thing about Joseph Cotten is that, so he plays a novelist, and I always get, like, skeptical when there's, like, a writer character in a movie, but they really do not make him a glamorous writer at all. He writes these paperback westerns. The only people who like are dumb cops in the area. And when, like, someone's mistaken that he is a better novelist than he is, and he asks him to be part of this lecture series, and he just does it for free room and board. That's all he wants. Yeah. I was all ready for that scene to be like, oh, wait, they find a connection. Oh, wait, he actually is great. Or it's going to be like a Hitchcockian scene where he's going to, like, get away dramatically. No, all the snobs just hate him, and he's stupid, and he can't answer the question of, like, well, where does James Joyce rank in your mind? Like, just this long guy over and over again.
Like one of the most cliche questions you could possibly ask. I'm going to ask a writer about James Joyce, and you almost get the impression that he's maybe even never read James Joyce.
Oh, yeah. Holly? Not at all.
He's not at all. He's
not well read.
He's not well read. He's not that good of a writer. He's doesn't get the girl. He's not a good detective.
No. Here he just appears. That's how he got solves it.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting. I guess if there was one flaw, and it's not a flaw, I don't know why Harry would even want Holly to get in on this.
Oh, I think he just likes.
He just
Holly.
likes him. He's just friends with him, right?
I think, honestly,
because he invites him over to join his little mafia group.
I kind of just took it as, like, he missed his friend Holly. And he was just going to, like, see Holly and do more shit this week.
But he said he had a job for him.
That's true. Yeah, he wanted him, I think he was just supposed to be a patsy. Like, take this kind of package. Oh, wait, now I got to fake my death. Oh, wait, I got all this kind of stuff. Like, I think he just overbooked himself. And, like, I think, like, I love the way they had their chemistry together because I get them as friends. And these actors have chemistry together from, their real lives, but yeah, you just kind of get it. Like, they drink together well, I'm sure. Like, you can see it.
Oh, yeah, no. And at some point, Harry probably wasn't an evil bastard.
No.
So that's a new addition to the group. And I mean, Holly struggles with this. Like, he doesn't immediately decide, oh, I'm gonna bust my friend. He was
ready to leave town.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have Major Calloway, played by Trevor Howard, who's really good in the film too.
Love this guy.
Yeah, he's an excellent character. Kind of an archetype, but like he's nuanced.
He's so awesome because he's like just so much smarter than Holly, and I love the whole like, okay, I'll take you to the airport. Do you mind making a quick stop? Do you want to come in with me? You're a writer. You want to like see life, basically.
He reminds me of the Dr. Strangelove Peter Sellers guy that's with bodily fluids. That guy.
The bodily fluids
from
guy?
Dr. Strangelove.
Or
No, the guy.
Okay.
The second in command.
Right.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of the serious version of that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I compare the two. It's like, oh, great, they both have the same job and they both have an accent, so I'm probably an asshole. But no, it's something about it reminded me because he has kind of like a.
Well, there's a seriousness to how he kind of portrays himself.
I keep doing this, and also the cop Paul Henry from is it Paul Henry? No, it's not. Gosh, Casablanca. I'm embarrassing myself right now.
Oh,
Round
sure.
up the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Jeez. Come on, Eric. You got to do better than that.
But it's always fun to have these kind of cops. And I mean, the Mr. Donner is.
That's what I'm saying. It's like an archetype, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
anyway.
He's not like an alcoholic. He's not like beating down suspects. He's smart. He's mannered, and he's going to catch the guy who's killing kids. Mm-hmm. This is his priority, and also his priority is to Holly, get the fuck out of here. Like you're. Get on the plane.
You think, like, at first I thought I was going to, like, not like him.
No. He seems antagonistic.
He seems antagonistic, and then it's like, really, no, you just need to get out of town. But then he eventually ends up recruiting Holly by not so subtly showing him a bunch of dying kids, and gets him to help catch Henry. Harry. So, man, I'm having a rough past 2 minutes. Whew. So how's the film end, Austin?
Well, I mean, you have the...
I mean, not the very end,
right,
but,
right.
You
get the chase scene proper now. The first part was the tease of it. Now you get the sewers. You get the amazing lighting and silhouettes. You get the echoes of it all, and you get the great final moment between these two. Of Harry at this point has already been hurt. He is crawling up a spiral staircase trying to get to the next sewer grate. There's no reason to even think he'll live past that sewer grate, but he is just always like, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step.
You can't imagine he'd actually get killed.
And he just kind of gets like his fingers through the grate, and like it is like the only prison he's probably going to have because he's. And then the moment, like, yeah, he could just die there, but it's ambiguous. But I like to think that Holly does shoot him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because they see each other again. They kind of get a better moment of like, now they fully see each other for who they are, and what the world means to each of them. And you hear gunfire, and then Harry's funeral part 2.
Yeah. Harry made a big mistake inviting Holly to. There was a joke. I want to also bring up another Joker reference, oddly. But going Batman '89. So obviously the Axis Chemicals sequence with the Joker is inspired heavily by the chase scene here in The Third Man. Sure. It has to be. He's running through like a sewer. There's water going everywhere. You see people going up steps while he's going down steps. And even the end of it, when he falls out, he's got the hand coming out of the sewer, just like the hand coming through the grate here.
Oh, sure.
They're wearing the same outfit. A trench coat and a fedora. Like, there's a lot of references to the two, and I couldn't help but think this.
You know, I haven't seen Batman 9 enough, apparently.
You've seen it like 30 times. We gotta watch it after this.
Oh, God damn it. No, I got anything else to do. But no, I mean, Tim Burton was always a big fan of German Expressionism. This isn't that, but this is the evolution of that. This is film noir in a really cool... I mean, you mentioned how there's barely a shot in this that's not a canted angle. Mm. And this is one of the most beloved film noirs because of that. The visual look of this movie is incredible, and also just that whole element of, like, everything's off. Everything's off and bad and gross in a way that, like, the splintered version of this town is confusing and jarring, and everyone is speaking a different language.
Kind of has a Hitchcock feel to it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, this is we're getting right into... At this point, I believe Joseph Cotton did a Hitchcock film, right? Because he's in Shadow of a Doubt. Am I crazy?
I don't know the years.
Love that movie, and he's very good in it. And he's just... Yeah, I love this movie. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's a worthy follow-up even to Citizen Kane. Bo, a friend of ours that we had on the podcast, who was our guest for the Clockwork Orange episode, this is his favorite movie.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's John Hodgman's favorite movie, the comedian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And podcaster. He has a podcast called Judge John Hodgman where he kind of plays a, like, people's court judge to real cases that are just, like, stupid, that he's going to, like, decide, like, petty arguments between friends. And he will, without warning, just say, like, no, shut up, just go watch The Third Man. It's a better use of your time. That is one of his, like, go-to solutions for most things. Is to just you should watch The Third Man. He is actually quite fair in all his cases, but he also is insistent that everyone should see The Third Man.
It's kind of like what I keep doing to you with Batman '89. Only this is a much better.
This is a much better movie.
I acknowledge that. I'm aware of that.
We covered this way later than that one on the podcast.
Isn't it weird that did I talk more about Batman than The Third Man in this podcast?
Well, we don't have to do the numbers.
Let's not.
So I looked up, I was kind of shocked how few Oscar nominations this got.
I mean, it's because it's Orson Welles, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was not well liked. I mean, at this point, he's barely in this. I mean, like...
Yeah, but...
Although, like,
but Orson Welles is that
so
guy
that,
like, if he's in the movie, he's the star.
But also, like, I realized this is just a busy year for Oscars, because I looked it up. We've covered, already in this podcast, 3 of the major films for Oscars this year. But not the winner.
But not the winner.
Because this is the year that All About Eve, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But which means this is the year of Sunset Boulevard. Mm-hmm. This is also the year of Harvey. Mm-hmm. That won Best Supporting Actress and such. And now Third Man. There's just a lot of good films that year.
Yeah, it was.
But no acting nominations is crazy to me. Oh, we should probably end on this note, but there is a slightly divisive element of this film. I mentioned this to my girlfriend when we watched it, and she immediately said, no, it's great. The score.
Oh, yeah.
I like the score because it adds to that.
I went back and watched
oddness.
It because we talked about it, and for some reason I forgot it. So I know that the score is controversial, but I remembered it being weird when I watched it, but I didn't remember why or how. I think it's great. I like
Me too,
it.
and it just keeps like reappearing, and it's bouncier than you think a like classic film noir will be, because it doesn't need to do that like dun dun dun, as it just kind of
lets the camera do that for it.
Oh yeah. And it just kind of just jumps into, like, the liveliness of it all and the strangeness, and also adds, I think, to Harry's charm. Because when that score plays while, like, Orson Welles is smiling, it's really effective. You're like, I'll hang out with this guy. You go, I shouldn't hang out with this guy.
Well, and again, that brings us full circle now. That's the dilemma of Harry Lime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the dilemma of a good villain.
He is more fun to hang out with, like the way like he like presents himself, than Charles Foster Kane at his most charming and like his youngest newspaper version.
Well, because oddly in a weird way, Charles Foster Kane is just that much more conceited and that much more. What's the word I'm looking for? He's like, there's an air of condescension that comes with Charles Foster Kane that doesn't really come with...
Which is so wonderfully ironic, because Charles Foster Kane, we know, cares about people more. Not a ton more. But
well, you
might definitely care about Harry Lime more.
Yes. Or yes.
Like,
I mean...
We discussed how he loved
Charles
his second
Foster
wife
Kane
and had friendships that mattered to him.
Right. He wouldn't murder children.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking Charles Foster Kane is worse, and it might come close to that, but it's not that. It's not that bad.
No.
So.
But this was... It's so funny that, like, this is an Orson Welles movie. He's in this less than Hannibal Lecter is in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah,
has to be.
But
right?
that's the whole thing about Orson Welles. That's why we're covering him on the podcast. I mean, he is a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I mean, he would be I know I talked about this earlier. I was trying to put together like my Mount Rushmore. Orson Welles is probably on it with Charlie Chaplin and Walt Disney. I don't know who that other person is yet. See if I can figure out who that is, but he's probably on there.
Yeah. It's Gene Kelly.
It's not Gene Kelly. It's not Gene Kelly.
But no, it's just kind of, we have 5 films here. He wrote, directed, and starred in 4 of them, and one of them is in about 10 minutes. And yet, it's
the best 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. So in case you haven't seen Third Man and just heard us spoil the ending in great detail, go see it. It's really good.
It's really good. Most people go in spoiled anyway.
Yeah. It's just pop culture did it, and it honestly doesn't hurt, because it's not that kind of a mystery movie.
So you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at letstake5@theartimmortal.com. You can shoot us an email on there. You can leave a comment at theartimmortal.com. Tweet at us at the Immortals Pod. The Immortals, that handle comes from another podcast on the network. The Immortals is a podcast that Austin hosts where...
a bunch of us review the 1001 movies, albums, food, songs, children's books, and TV shows you must see before you die. We're in the middle of our 1-month hiatus, and what do you?
No, it's just like when you come back here. I was going to say when you recover.
Oh,
I was actually going to take that for once.
No, this already happened.
This already happened. So you covered.
This is episode 100, which we covered things like The Lion King, my bunch review of Kicking and Screaming, and yeah, it's a good one. You can listen to that, because we're going to come back mid-December. And it's also Adam Lord's final episode. So see his epic send-off with, a typical crazy cliffhanger. Things that happen in review shows of convoluted sci-fi cliffhangers.
You're not going to talk about how you covered Spice Up Your Life on there?
We discussed Spice Girls for a while.
Yeah.
And we decided this one is not the song that should have been on the list.
And Meg makes an appearance in that episode, right?
Meg does make a returning appearance. Yeah. Only she's a villainous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reason why I say that is for people listening, Meg is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Ad Absurdum too?
Yeah, Ad Absurdum. The Inception episode is out. It's very good. A lot of interesting look at the legal concepts behind Inception, especially around what is ownership when dreams can be accessed and stolen and manipulated.
That's a movie we'll have to talk about on here. I just rewatched that over the break, the Thanksgiving break there, and it's kind of silly. It's great, but it's also kind of goofy.
It may be on the Immortals soon.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
it's gonna be covered by everybody by the end of it. Check me out at Constant Diversion. That's my YouTube channel on there. Working on the Chrono Trigger video. We cover video games, and I think that about wraps us up.
It does. We'll be back next week with a review of Orson Welles' adaptation of Othello, which I believe is currently on Filmstruck, and so is this. Third Man, which is added this week. So
well, I wish I didn't have to spend the $15.
Whoops. Well,
it's okay. I own the Third Man now.
I brought it.
My name's Eric Martindale.
I'm Austin Luger.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Victims? Don't be melodramatic. Look down there. Would you really feel any pity if one of those dots stopped moving forever? If I offered you 20,000 pounds for every dot that stopped, would you really, old man, tell me to keep my money? Or would you calculate how many dots you could afford to spend? Free of income tax, only. Free of income tax. The only way you can save money nowadays.
A lot of good your money will do you in jail.
That jail's in another zone. There's no proof against me. Besides you.